I'm John's dad. Thanks for checking out my channel. I decided I needed to make an introductory video. And I'm not sure if it's for you or more for me. Why am I doing this? I can go backpacking and not record videos, not plan videos, not format them and upload them to YouTube. Excuse me. So why do I want to do this? Well, over the decades I've done lots and lots of backpacking, different countries, for sure different trails around in the States where I live. And I figured out that I actually have quite a bit to share. I'm not an expert. Maybe somebody might think I am, but I don't think I am. I've got a lot to learn. And while I'm learning, while I'm experiencing, I decided I'm going to share it with you. And the motto for my channel is going to be learning while you go. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be doing things, I'm going to be going, I'm going to be recording, sharing, pointing out different things that I'm doing as I'm doing it. And that way you can learn from that. You can get out there as quickly as possible, make your own mistakes. I've made a long list of them. Learn the most from those mistakes. I want to get you out there. You can learn, make mistakes. You can learn from them. And we can all enjoy the outdoors. So how did I get to where I'm at? I was raised in a small blue-collar town, southeastern corner of Wisconsin, about an hour north of Chicago. And I joined Boy Scouts when I was, or Cub Scouts, when I was little, and did the Pinewood Derby and did a little bit of camping, but not really much. And Webelos, we did a couple campouts. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. When it came time for me to age out of Cub Scouts and cross over to Boy Scouts, I did it eagerly. I wanted to do this. This was something I enjoyed. We did lots and lots of backpacking. There was a woods south of town. We'd hike out to that and set up for a 2-night weekend. There's one north of town. We'd go out there, and we did other things too. We had a fairly active scout leader. Our troop was small. Quite often, 5 scouts or 10 scouts could go on a trip. The scout leader would drive, and then 5 scouts. If another adult went along, that was 10 scouts that could go. And there are a lot more restrictions now and protective guidelines for the scouts. And so more scouts can go sometimes. You have more adults who go now on trips, so that's pretty good. My first backpack was a canvas bag with a couple straps. That was it. And no hip belt, no pockets, nothing. A canvas bag with a flap. And I'm not sure how I got everything I needed in and attached to the outside of that pack. It was quite a pain, literally. It was heavy and it hurt on the straps. And luckily later on, I did get myself backpack that by Alpenlight. That was the name of the company, Alpenlight. It was blue, one of my favorite colors, and it had a hip belt. Fantastic. My first rural backpacking trip with that, we thru-hiked the Greenstone Ridge Trail on Isle Royal. It's a national park in Lake Superior. My pack weighed, wait for this, 74 pounds. I carried a 5-pound shelter half, and my tent partner carried the other 5-pound half. It came with 3 wooden poles that were put together at the end. They probably weighed half a pound at least, if not a pound. We didn't have the modern age technology like we do today. I had a rubberized poncho. None of this Dyneema or other lightweight, strong material. Gore-Tex did exist then, from what I understand, but that for sure wasn't something that I had. So after Scouts, after high school, going into college, I ended up doing a lot of car camping. And in fact, I had some boxes in my garage in the little duplex or twin single that I rented. And on Thursday night, I'd pop open the hatch of my car, and I had a box for kitchen stuff, a box of camping stuff, my tent, all of that would get thrown in the back of the car. So Friday night, I could head off to one of the local state parks. I went camping probably every other weekend, if not more, during the summer, most of the time through college and for a few years after. I had an IT career, which is a little bit different than the IT today. We used punch cards, that kind of thing. And my goal, long-term goal, was to move through the rat race, move up the hierarchy in the IT career. And I did that. My plan, though, was that as I approached retirement age, I would wean myself from the rat race and maybe teach one class or two classes at a local tech school or at a university, and gradually, for my retirement, transition out of the rat race, transition into education, and teach people technology skills. So that was the plan. As you might imagine, it didn't work out like I expected. I moved into management, my technical skills became obsolete, and by the time I did retire, I'll bet I was 3 generations old in technology skills. So that wasn't going to be an option for me. About 25 years ago, my son was born, and I'm going to bet you'll guess his name is John. It's actually Jonathan, and we call him John, spelled Jon. And so he's my son, therefore I'm John's dad. I really got that name solidly affixed through the scouting years, his scouting years, because the scouts didn't know everybody's name, but they knew I was John's dad. There was Brian's dad, Joseph's dad, Eric's dad. For me, the name stuck. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being John's dad. As he approached scouting age, Cub Scouts, I encouraged him gently. I didn't want to force. I encouraged him to be part of Cub Scouts, and he enjoyed it. He had fun. We actually camped more with his Cub Scout pack, den and pack, than we did with mine. So he got a lot more camping. We had a lot of fun together, the campfire, the s'mores, all that kind of stuff. And as he got older, then he did transition into Boy Scouts. And the scout troop went camping basically every month, just like mine did. And we did a lot of backpacking. We were an outdoor troop. He enjoyed it, and that was super great for me. I really was glad that he was doing that. I think scouting is a good program, teaches kids to be moral and ethical leaders. As he did get older, I think 14 or 15 was the first time, we went to, and I've got the shirt on, just noticed. We went to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico. They've got a couple 100 square miles of backcountry. They've built some local camps, and there's trails, and you go there and spend a couple weeks in the backcountry with 2 or 3 resupplies, and it's all planned out. They really know how to run a backcountry camp there. They do a great job. And so we did that a couple times. John was a crew leader on the second time as he grew up. Our troop had 2 groups. It was, we had, 80 scouts or something in the troop. And so backpacking trips, they ended up breaking into 2 groups, what we called adventure and high adventure. The adventure scouts were the younger scouts, not physically ready to tackle long miles, heavy loads, that kind of thing. And so they would do maybe 5 miles in a day, when the high adventure would do 10. And we would plan so that the groups would meet at lunchtime, for example. We'd camp together at night, but we figured out a way for the older scouts to be challenged and have fun without overwhelming the younger scouts. While John was in the adventure group, I hiked with the high adventure group. That gave me the fun, challenge, and let me see my son without dominating his life. I let him be around other adults, other people. As he got older and went into high adventure, it was time for me to then follow the adventure scouts. And it was really time. My jokes were old for the older scouts, and they had been tired of hearing them multiple times. And I had a whole brand new audience in the adventure scouts. And they were brand new learning. I always took my 85-liter Osprey Aether backpack, because somebody's backpack would lose a sleeping bag, the tent, stuff would fall off, and it was really easy for me to grab that piece of equipment, stuff it into my backpack, carry it for the kid, so that he still had fun. Yeah, we want them to come back. We want them to learn, have fun, make their mistakes. Everybody makes them, so we'll go out and have fun. As time passed, we reached 2016, and we had a lot of adults in our troop who enjoyed the backpacking. I'm not sure why we all found each other, why it all happened. I don't know if it came from before the troop and people were just had a propensity to like backpacking, or if they learned to like it in the troop. Either one is possible. Probably both, I guess. So in the summer of 2016, we adults decided to propose to the scouts that their summer camp that summer could be a week on the Appalachian Trail. Just imagine the learning, the requirements that could be checked off. Of course, a 50-mile hike, several merit badges, the hiking, backpacking, cooking, first aid, tons of things could be crossed off and learned. So we proposed that, and there was actually quite a bit of excitement. A lot of scouts wanted to do it. A lot of adults were interested. We do have a scout-led troop, which means the scouts make their decisions and the adults support them, make sure they're safe, make sure they're financially viable, that type of thing. But it's a scout-led troop. They're practicing to be leaders, and that's fine. The scouts, even though there was a lot of excitement, they decided they wanted to go camping on an Assateague Island with the wild ponies or wild horses. And so the conclusion was there was no competition when you're going up against wild horses. So the scouts decided to do that. And that moved along, and unfortunately it fell through and it didn't actually happen. But that was the direction they wanted to go, and so they ended up doing regular summer camp as their Assateague Island plans just couldn't materialize. There wasn't enough time. We adults, though, standing in the corner of the room said, let's do it anyway. And I'm not sure who actually even started that. I don't know if it was me. I wouldn't be surprised, but there's a couple of us decided that, yeah, we're gonna go do this week on the Appalachian Trail, and we're gonna do this for fun. Without the scouts, unfortunately. Well, as word spread, our little group of 2 or 3 people that were going to hike from Front Royal up to Harper's Ferry grew to 11 people, including some scouts. At that time, it was just fathers or male adults and some sons who were scouting age. It was just a one-time thing. Satisfy our curiosity, see what it's like. That was 2016. This is 2022. We have gone on the Appalachian Trail every summer since 2016. This is our 8th year, I believe. That would make sense. We've also had some other forays into the Appalachian Trail. I've done several sections alone without anybody else. I did do a section in the Whites. And that was quite an experience, by the way. Don't have your first section on the Appalachian Trail be in the Whites. That's just my advice. It did not work out well. I was way in over my head. So we now know that the section of the Appalachian Trail between Harper's Ferry and Front Royal, we actually hiked at Front Royal to Harper's Ferry, contains something called the roller coaster. And so it was quite arduous. I would say we probably never saw 2 of the people again. They had had enough fun, and this was not fun for them, unfortunately. We should have picked a much more friendly section, maybe Grayson Highlands, but we didn't know. We just wanted to get on the trail. Harper's Ferry area, Front Royal areas, real convenient for us. The logistics were easy, and so that's what we did. Our little group, 2 to 3 people, that was 11 people on our first year in 2016, has varied. One year it was only 6 people, but that was the year that all of our kids were graduating from high school. So graduation ceremonies, college visits, that kind of thing. And we only had 6 people go that year. This year, we went from Pine Grove Furnace State Park down to Harper's Ferry to connect up our first section with our last section here. This is not our last section. We're going again next year. But our currently last section, most recent section. So we connected those points. We started with 13 people, and just unbelievable. Not only do we have more people involved, there's more than 20 people that over the years have rotated in and out. We have several regulars, probably 10 regulars that are there as often as they can be. So we not only do a week on the Appalachian Trail, We also now do a three-day weekend in the fall and a 3-day weekend in the spring, and we just go to more local places, Red River Gorge, for example, Seneca Creek, Allegheny Mountains, something kind of a day's drive, 6 hours or so from home. We also do a weekend in the winter, which is not actually that well attended, maybe 5-6 people. Not everybody likes setting up their tent in the snow and sleeping on the ground. We do have some hammock people, and so they even can get cold a little bit in the wintertime. But we do this 4 seasons, and it's just a blast. About 5 years ago, my numbers started to look good. My age was going up, and my money was going up. It was really clear that I was going to have a successful retirement. When I got the green light, the official green light, you can retire, within just a few days, I gave notice to quit my IT career. And the same day, a few hours later, I went onto the REI website and applied for a part-time position. And so, as it all worked out, I had less than a week off between multiple decade IT career with extremely high stress and like a lot of unfun things. I had less than a week off between that and starting a fun job at REI. Basically, the customers are coming in, they want to go out and have fun. And as an REI employee, it's my job to help them have fun. There's just nothing better than that. So everybody's having fun. The people are great. The employees there are great. And then so I did that for several years. And finally I decided I liked being retired. That didn't include a part-time job. So I'm actually fully retired now. That meant that this summer, when we did the Pine Grove Furnace State Park to Harper's Ferry, I had more time, and I actually started in Delaware Water Gap, and I took a whole month and hiked Pennsylvania and Maryland, hooked up with my friends in Pine Grove Furnace State Park, which is, by the way, where they do the half-gallon challenge. And then we finished up that last week, finished up with them. In fact, we just got back on Sunday. It's just current events. So you remember my goal of wanting to retire and teach people IT skills, which by the time I retired were obsolete. I had to replace that with a new goal. And working at REI, I was able to teach lots of classes, backcountry skills, map and compass, which we eventually split into map and compass. There's just so much to cover. 2 hours wasn't enough to give a good foundation in map and compass. So it ended up being 4 hours worth of education. Very useful. The light bulbs that go on, people understand it's not that difficult. And it really isn't. The compass is kind of confusing, but if you do a couple exercises, it's not that bad, and people really, really enjoyed it. You know, we taught the art of fire, outdoor skills, how to pack a backpack, different equipment like tents and sleep systems, that kind of thing. Just a blast. And so I've been having fun. I'm recommending retirement to all my friends, and even the young ones, and maybe I'm just teasing them a little bit, but definitely this retirement thing is a good thing, and I'm glad I retired. Over the years, I'm going back, decades now, I've hiked on multiple continents. I've hit sections of the Appalachian Trail, the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, John Muir Trail, the GMT, Ice Age Trail in Wisconsin, Buckeye Trail here in Ohio, and just unbelievable number of local trails, day hikes, and also 1 or 2 night camping trips. Last summer, I decided to become a thru hiker, and I went to Sweden and thru hiked the King's Trail. It's a very northern tip of Sweden, about 300 miles. Just absolutely beautiful. Just all day long, you're looking at beautiful scenes. For the most part, you're above tree line. Very inspirational, and it's so cool. They got water everywhere, and people just carry a little cup, a wooden cup, and just dip into the streams and drink it. The water's clear and safe for the most part. Some exceptions, and I did meet some people who got sick, but it was just a wonderful experience meeting people from around the world. It's just wonderful. So that leads us to today. I'm doing my introductory video, and this technology wasn't even conceived of the first time I took that canvas backpack and lifted it to my shoulders. And now it's going to be part of our relationship, yours and mine. So I want to continue as I get older to maintain my activities and my outdoor experiences as long as I can. And this summer I did a few hundred miles backpacking, so I'm not done yet. So what's coming up pretty soon, I'm working on those on the side here. A day-by-day log for my AT section hike this summer. I've also got in the works videos for my Kungsleden. Kungsleden is King's Trail in Swedish, and I say them both ways or interchangeably, and I apologize. English, it's the King's Trail. I've got videos coming out for that, as well as numerous how-to videos. I like to dehydrate my own food and test them and try them and tweak them. And I've got some prepared already, as you'll see on my channel, but I'm planning on expanding that. I would hope that you'd be willing to give me some polite feedback, suggestions. This is a family channel, and so you won't hear me ever use a bad word. I sure hope you don't. I don't use them a lot. Once in a while I do, but my intent is for this to be a family channel that you could freely let your Cub Scouts or your Boy Scouts watch without any worry of inappropriate behavior, inappropriate language. Don't hesitate also to ask questions. I will read all the comments that are made. If I don't know the answer to a question, I'm going to bet I know the person who does. And so I'll be glad to chase that down for you. So, I'm John's dad, and thanks for listening this far. I hope you enjoy and benefit from the videos that I do create. I think I'm supposed to tell you to like and subscribe and hit that little bell for, excuse me, for reminders. And so go ahead and do that if you like. And I look forward to seeing you down the trail.